Good morning and welcome to Breakfast with Roger Johnson and Sally Nugent.
Morning. Our headlines today: a £700 million plan for British border checks at the end of the Brexit transition period, but Labour accuses the government of complacency.
Donald Trump wears a face covering in public for the first time during the coronavirus pandemic.
Morning. Norwich City are the first to be relegated from the Premier League. Confirmation of their drop came after another loss. They haven't picked up a single point since the league restarted. England collapse, losing 5 wickets for just 30 runs late on day 4, making the West Indies favourites to win the first test in Southampton.
Also ahead, we'll bring you the remarkable story of British pilot Stephen Cameron, who spent 2 months on life support in Vietnam with coronavirus, but is now on his way home.
Good morning. It's going to be a warmer day for us today. Most places will be dry with some sunny spells. There'll be some rain coming into the northwest of the UK later on. But join me later for all the details.
Good morning. It's Sunday the 12th of July. Our top story today: the government is to spend more than £700 million on increased security and border checks in preparation for the end of the Brexit transition period at the end of the year.
There'll be 500 new staff and new inland border posts where existing ports have no room to cope with the extra checks that will be required. Here's our political correspondent, Ian Watson.
Dover is the busiest Channel port. It will be on the front line of new customs regulations from the end of the year. When the Brexit transition period comes to a close, new customs checks will be necessary. And where existing ports are too cramped, new facilities will be built inland. The UK will phase in its new system over 6 months, but EU countries will begin checks on our exports from the 1st of January. Getting ready for life outside the EU customs union doesn't come cheap. The government will spend £470 million on new customs facilities such as border control posts, and a further £235 million on IT and staffing, including the recruitment of 500 more border force staff. But government ministers haven't said exactly when the new facilities will be ready. In a leaked letter, the International Trade Secretary Liz Truss has expressed concerns about a lack of necessary infrastructure at UK ports, and she wants assurances from government colleagues that the new customs system here in the UK won't be delayed any further than July next year. Labour is accusing ministers of being complacent in their post-Brexit preparations, and the party claims there's a growing sense of chaos in government. But government ministers argue they're making an unprecedented investment to keep our borders secure. Ian Watson, BBC News.
Let's talk to our political correspondent Nick Eardley. Morning, Nick. £700 million. Give us more detail on where it will all be spent.
Yeah, morning, Roger. Remember the days when we used to speak about nothing apart from Brexit? Well, despite all the focus being elsewhere, this has been going on behind the scenes with the Brexit talks continuing, and this is all part of making sure that we are ready for leaving the transition period at the end of this year. So £470 million of that cash you've been speaking about will be for new infrastructure, things like ports to make sure that checks can be done on anything coming into the UK. Then there will be the other £230 million which will go on getting new staff in place. We think there are going to be about 500 new border staff needed and a new IT system to make sure that everything is fine. There are some concerns in government that ministers have been a bit slow on this, that they haven't quite got up to pace with exactly what's going to be needed to make sure that it's all a smooth process. As you heard in Ian's piece there, instead of it all coming in at the one time, it's going to be phased in over 6 months, and Labour are saying this shows the government aren't on top of it. But this money is an attempt to persuade us all that we are going to be ready.
And Nick, we're going to hear more details, or expecting to hear more details tomorrow, about the points-based immigration system. Priti Patel is being tipped to tell us more about that.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we know there's going to be this Australian-style system where you earn points based on the skills you have and what you're contributing to the country. A couple of things I think we'll find out tomorrow about special schemes. One will be for NHS staff from other countries. People coming to work in the health service, there'll be an easier route for them to get in. Likewise, for people that have studied in the UK, there'll be a special scheme that comes in to allow you to stay for 2 or 3 years, depending on the qualifications you have, to build up the points you need with a better job or earning a bit more money. But as I say, I think we're going to hear a bit more over the next few weeks about how the UK is getting ready for Brexit. The government wants to persuade us all, as I say, that everything is in place to make sure that the end of the transition is smooth, whether we get a deal or not.
OK, Nick, thank you very much. Nick Eardley there.
President Trump has worn a face covering in public for the first time since the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic.
As infection rates reached record levels this week in the US, Donald Trump seemed to heed the advice of his advisors and experts and wore a mask, despite previously saying that he would never do so. Our correspondent John McManus has got this story.
An unexpected change of direction. President Trump wearing a face mask in public for the first time. Although he recently said that he thought he resembled the Lone Ranger when he donned a face mask, he originally refused to wear one.
I think wearing a face mask as I greet presidents, prime ministers, dictators, kings, queens, I don't know, somehow I don't see it for myself.
The president's change of heart comes as Covid-19 tightens its grip on the US. So far, there have been 135,000 deaths from the virus. With 3.2 million cases, the US is the worst hit country, and the numbers just keep on rising. Florida is one of those states struggling to contain the virus. After attempting to open in May, the state ordered bars to close again at the end of June. In Arizona, there's been a steady rise in the use of artificial breathing machines in intensive care units. Its bars and clubs have also been closed again. While in Texas, several hospitals say their coronavirus wards are at or near capacity. But in Orlando, Disney World reopened two of its 4 parks on Saturday, Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom. Decisions over face coverings are contentious in the US. Many of Donald Trump's own supporters regard it as a personal choice and not something to be imposed by the state, meaning their president is trying to tread a fine line.
I think it's a great thing to wear a mask. I've never been against masks, but I do believe they have a time and a place.
Other world leaders are already leading by example, some more reluctantly than others. All eyes will now be on Mr. Trump to see if his mask will be a lasting feature. John McManus, BBC News.
Well, our North America correspondent Peter Bowe says that until now the president has refused to wear a face covering in front of the cameras, but he said he was expected to wear one inside hospitals.
Well, there's been a lot of pressure on the president to wear a mask, like pretty much everyone else is being encouraged to, especially in recent weeks. Indeed, in some American cities, it is compulsory if you go out in public, even out in the open air, to wear a mask, such as the problem with coronavirus, a growing problem in cities like the one I'm in right now in Los Angeles. But the president has steadfastly refused at least to be seen in public wearing a mask. There was one occasion when he was out and about. It was a private visit where we understand, and 1 or 2 pictures did emerge that he was wearing a mask. But generally, he has become known for a president who did not want to wear the mask, and he explained repeatedly why he believed it wasn't necessary, that he is tested for the coronavirus frequently, so are the people around him, and he practices social distancing with those officials he works very closely with. So he didn't feel it was necessary, apart from today when he is visiting this hospital just outside of Washington, when he said a couple of days ago in a hospital setting, he said he didn't want to be responsible for perhaps infecting other people. And of course, that is one of the big reasons why we're asked to wear masks, is to stop us infecting others. And it seems that the president has now heeded that advice.
Peter Bowe's there. Now, thousands of people staged a demonstration in Tel Aviv last night, protesting against economic hardship and what they say is the Israeli government's mishandling of the pandemic.
The event was organised by small businesses, self-employed workers and performing artists groups, angered by government coronavirus measures. Israel has seen a spike in infections, with nearly 1,500 new cases reported on Friday.
One of India's most famous Bollywood stars, Amitabh Bachchan, has tested positive for coronavirus and has been admitted to hospital in Mumbai. In a tweet to his 43 million followers, he asked anybody who'd come into contact with him in the past 10 days to get tested. Officials say that the 77-year-old is in a stable condition.
Now, an airline pilot from North Lanarkshire who contracted Covid-19 in Vietnam and spent more than 2 months on life support in a hospital in Ho Chi Minh City is finally on his way home.
Yes, doctors gave 42-year-old Stephen Cameron a 10% chance of survival in a country which has recorded no official Covid-19 deaths. Alexandra Mackenzie reports.
He had only recently arrived in Vietnam to work as a pilot for Vietnam Airways. Stephen Cameron is thought to have contracted Covid-19 on a night out in Ho Chi Minh City at the end of March. The case attracted much media attention because in Vietnam the number of coronavirus cases is below 400 and there were no registered deaths. The 42-year-old from Motherwell spent more than 2 months on a ventilator. There were few critical patients, so he was treated by the country's top clinicians. But Stephen, whose face has been blurred in this hospital footage, had multiple complications.
My friend Craig was told by the Foreign Commonwealth Office I had a 10% chance of survival. So he planned for the worst. So he gave up my apartment. He started to do things that you would expect somebody to do if I was coming home in a box.
However, after 10 weeks, doctors woke him from the coma and he dared to think about home.
The odds say that I shouldn't be here, so I can only thank everybody here for doing what they've done. And I go home with a happy heart because I'm going home, but with a sad one because I'm leaving so many people here that I've made friends with.
Stephen is on the road to recovery. He lost weight and muscle strength and suffered fatigue and depression. There was also a debate about who would pay the medical bills. But he's now on his way home and an emotional reunion is expected with friends and family in Motherwell. Alexandra Mackenzie, BBC News, Glasgow.
Incredible story. And now he has raised over £30 million for the NHS, had a #1 single with Michael Ball and been given a knighthood. Now, you know who I mean. You know.
I do.
It is, of course, Captain Sir Tom Moore.
Now he can add to his list of incredible achievements being a member of the England football squad. David Beckham has named him as the honorary captain of the Lionhearts. That's an initiative honouring inspirational people who have gone above and beyond during the pandemic. Take a look at what happened when David met Sir Tom.
Hello, David. Captain Sir Tom, thank you for having me here today. I'm very excited about meeting you, and it's a real pleasure for me to be down here to personally say thank you and also to present you with a little present from the England team.
Very kind of you, and I'm delighted to receive that honour from you, especially from you. Thank you very much indeed.
Gorgeous.
Fantastic, isn't it?
I mean, Captain Sir Tom, obviously.
Never in any doubt what you meant there, Tom. It's 13 minutes past 6. Let's have a look at the front pages of the Sunday papers. We'll start with the Sunday Telegraph. It's reporting this morning that taxes and red tape will be slashed in towns and cities across the UK next year, under plans by the Chancellor Rishi Sunak for post-Brexit and post-coronavirus economic revolution.
Now, almost all of the front pages feature a picture of the 1966 World Cup winner Jack Charlton, who died aged 85. The Observer describes the former Leeds defender and Republic of Ireland manager as a true giant of English football.
Sunday Express leads with one of our main stories this morning. It's a pledge from the government that it will seize back control of its borders by the end of the year, whatever the outcome of the Brexit negotiations.
Should we have a little look at what's inside our papers this morning? There's a great story here on a kind of a slightly sporty theme. Here in the Telegraph, I believe this is. This is about the trainer, Tim Vaughan, top racehorse trainer, who has moved his stables basically higher up a hill because...
Altitude training.
Exactly.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. It is exactly that. So he's relocated the horses, preparing for major tournaments. They've gone 800 metres up a slope at his farm in Cowbridge in Wales, where there's plenty of air and sunshine to basically give the horses a clearer air to breathe when they're training. And they have to finish
by running uphill to get home,
Probably they're doing sprints, aren't they? He's saying, people thought I was mad. I spent 4 years analysing it. You need the horses inhaling as clean air as you possibly can. It's the moisture in the environment that holds the allergens and affects the horse's respiratory system.
there's a story here which many of us will identify, particularly from our youth, with the theme tunes to TV programmes, which of course become so intrinsically linked with them. It's got Yes Minister, Grange Hill, we all know them. But obviously with Netflix and streaming services, did you not like that? Netflix and streaming services now, you can skip the intro, so quite often you just go straight to the meat of the programme rather than the theme tune. And this story in the Telegraph is saying it's damaging a TV tradition. The theme tune, of course, which is Black Beauty, I guess. Doctor Who.
Classic
the music
theme tunes.
is part and parcel of the whole experience, isn't it? But I don't know. Maybe get in touch. Tell us your favourite theme tunes. There's loads of them listed here.
Do you always skip intro?
Sometimes, but we have seen stuff on Netflix. We watched Money Heist on Netflix, which is great. And it's got a really nice theme tune.
Okay.
Really nice song, but you do get into the habit of skipping it after a while because you've heard it and you think, well, I've heard it.
I think I skip every time.
Really?
Yes.
See, that's the great thing about this programme. Top of the hour, you can't skip the theme tune.
You can't skip anything, can you? That is the inside of our Sunday papers for you this morning. I think the weather might be slightly improving over the coming days, and Darren is here to tell us more with a beautiful picture behind you. Morning, Darren.
Morning, Sally. Morning, Roger. Great picture this, isn't it? Somebody's enjoyed an amazing sunrise this morning. Looks like they've been camping. Sets the scene on what is going to be a decent day, really, for most of the country. A lot of dry weather, sunshine, warm sunshine, and temperatures are going to be higher than they were yesterday. The only fly in the ointment is this weather front here that's going to be arriving across northwestern areas later on in the day. Otherwise, high pressure is going to be in charge once again. Now, underneath the high pressure, it's a bit chilly first thing this morning. It's going to warm up quickly in the sunshine. There'll be a lot of that. There'll be some patchy fair weather cloud developing here and there. Always more cloudy towards the Northern Isles of Scotland. Clouding over through the afternoon in Northern Ireland. Some patchy light rain here and probably the sunshine turning hazy in Scotland. But we could make 20 degrees around the Moray Firth and into Aberdeenshire. 18 at best in Northern Ireland and probably 23 or 24 towards the southeast of England. So a warmer day across the board. And a fine evening to come across England and Wales. But we'll see that rain pushing its way into Scotland. Some further rain here overnight. Moving away from Northern Ireland. Some patchy rain heading its way into England and Wales. Now, there'll be a lot more cloud around tonight. Temperatures are going to be much higher than they've been over the past couple of nights, typically around 11 or 12 degrees. And that's because we've got that weather front that's arriving in the northwest, that's slipping its way very slowly southwards on Monday across the UK and pushing that high pressure a little bit further away. So there'll be much more cloud around on Monday. There'll be some patchy rain heading its way down into northern England, and particularly into Wales, perhaps the southwest, many eastern areas of England dry. We'll get a little bit of sunshine coming into the north, but even here it's quite cloudy air. There'll be a few showers around as well. Not bad temperatures, mind you, still possibly 20 degrees in eastern Scotland with the highest temperature in the southeast, where we may well see the best of the sunshine, 24 degrees here. That weather front will bring a little bit of rain overnight across southeastern parts of the UK. Not a great deal. That's out of the way. We've got another one arriving into the northwest later on Tuesday, but we're going to be in between weather fronts, really, and it's slightly cooler and fresher air that's heading our way on Tuesday as well. A northwesterly breeze, not particularly strong, but again, there's a fair bit of cloud around on Tuesday. Some sunshine coming through now and again. You can see we've got a few showers here and there, not very many of those. It will cloud over, I think, in Northern Ireland, and we'll see some patchy rain here, especially later on in the day. But those temperatures are a bit low, I think, on Tuesday. So we're dropping the temperatures on Tuesday in that northwesterly breeze, 16 or 17, back to those sort of numbers like we had yesterday in Scotland and Northern Ireland. Highs of 20 in the southeast of England. And over the week ahead, really, I suspect there will be quite a lot of cloud across the UK. Not much rain, though, it has to be said. It will be a much drier week ahead. Some sunshine coming through now and again, and the highest temperatures will be in the southeast. That's it for me. Back to you two.
Thanks very much, Darren.
We've started something about theme tunes,
Go
TV
on.
theme tunes, and the story about flicking over them. Apparently the number one of all time is Doctor Who. I don't know where that comes from. Pauline says MASH, never ever skips it. She loves it. She emailed us. Helen has tweeted us to say her favourite one is Game of Thrones. It's the only one she does watch.
Wow, very orchestral.
See the headlines as they happen and watch BBC News live in the app and get the full story with bbc.co.uk/news. Follow the story for all the latest with BBC News.